Besides a mother.
except for a mother.
Except for a
That
mother.
bond that moms have with their children is unlike any other bond that you can have with another person. And so I feel that when you grow up without a mom, you are missing that experience. And I think it does affect you psychologically.
Do you think it affect you more once you became a mother, or you already kind of were aware of, I guess, the the difficulties you were experiencing as a child?
I think the effect started to be, I became aware of the effect, should I say, when I was probably in my late teens going into college. That's when it really started being an issue, and I started having issues with depression.
Do you think it was an isolated incident? No, excuse me. Was there an isolated incident that happened that kind of, and if you go back into your memory, that you can kind of be more aware of, or it's just kind of like as you grow and you start to become more aware
Yes,
of yourself?
I think because when you're a child, you feel that your life and your experience is everybody else's experience. It's not until you leave home and you educate yourself and you're around other people and you see what their lives are like that you realize what you've missed out on, or what your family did well or what your family didn't do well.
Did you have any friends that had a really close relationship with their mom that kind of made something stand out to you?
No, I wouldn't say, not that I can think of right now. There weren't any friends that had this special bond with their moms that I felt like, oh, I wish I was like them. I've definitely been out in places and seen moms interacting with
You
their
just
children.
knew that you were missing something.
Yes.
Something was missing.
And, I would feel jealous. But that was even as a child.
That was even as a child.
Yeah.
You were 8 years old when your mom passed. What is your fondest memory that you have of you and your mom?
So my mom and I would get in the bed together every night, and she would read to me, and we would read various books, chapter books, and we would every night come back to the book and read another chapter for that night. And I remember how she smelled. I remember, how that felt. I felt safe.
Okay.
And so that's probably the thing that probably stands out the most.
That's what stands out the most. Now, your mom was biracial.
Yes.
So her mother was German,
Yes.
and her father was black or African American.
Correct.
So she never knew her father, did she?
She did not. She didn't know her dad, her biological dad.
She didn't know her biological dad. Okay, that'll be part 2, because we're gonna stay on track. Well, that'll be part 2.
Okay.
That'll be part 2. Do you feel like, because you mentioned depression, do you feel like that the adults in your life should have been aware of your depression and intervene, or did you hide it so well that they wouldn't notice?
I don't think that I hid it well, but I also don't think that at that time, in society now, in our country, psychology is talked about a lot, and depression, anxiety, bipolar disorder, whatever it might be that you have, some are talked about more, but it's a little more mainstream and it's socially acceptable to find help. I think that my dad did what he could for me. After my mom passed, we did do a support group for a little while, but I don't think that the awareness was there at that time for me to get the help that I probably would have needed
At that time. Now, I know that a mother has some basically irreplaceable shoes. Did anyone step in that role, that motherly role for you after your mom passed? Is there anyone that you can kind of get a sense of a motherly vibe, motherly energy from?
So I would say my grandmother in Germany probably would be that person.
Okay.
She was very motherly towards me, and she made sure I was okay. After my mom passed and we moved back to Germany, we would when my dad was a single parent, so he would have to work on summer break and Christmas break. He was in the military, and so I would spend summers and holidays with her.
And when you say your grandmother, you're saying your mom's mom?
No.
Okay.
So my mother and her mother did not have a relationship.
Okay.
She actually met this guy when she was in her, I believe, late teens. And
When you say she, you say
my mom.
Your mom, okay.
And she became close friends with him, and then in turn became close friends with his family.
Okay.
I'm not exactly sure at what point she started calling his mom, Mom, but as I was growing up, I always referred to her as Grandma.
Okay.
And so
So I just want to reiterate what you're saying. You're saying that your mom met the guy, and the guy, they were close friends.
They were just friends.
They were just friends, and his mom became her adoptive adoptive mom,
Pretty
because
much.
she didn't have a relationship
It was
with her
her
mom.
adoptive family.
Okay, and I just want to say
Sure.
your mom's name, because we keep saying she, and I want to
Gotcha.
identify. So what is your
Wilhelmina.
Wilhelmina, her full name?
Oh, Crawford.
Wilhelmina Crawford. Okay. All right, continue.
And so I was growing up, all I knew was my mom calling her mom, and I called her Grandma.
Okay.
And so she was probably my soft place to land.
Okay.
She made sure I was fed. She would, just doted on me, made sure I was okay.
And she was German, correct?
She's German.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. And so that would probably be the one person that stepped up and said, I'm gonna take care of you.
Okay. Are you and her still close to this day?
So we talk periodically. I have not been back to Germany since 2007.
Okay.
So, and she's in her 80s now.
Okay.
And so the goal was to go 2020,
Okay.
and then the pandemic hit.
Oh, so wait a minute. We might come with you. A trip to Germany to meet.
I like it. Let's go.
We might come with you. Unchain Your Dragon may come with you.
I like it.
We might go to Germany. Now, you call your grandmother, it's a word you use.
Omela.
Omela. And that means grandmother in German.
It's a form of grandma.
It's a form of grandma.
Uma is grandma.
Uma?
Standard, like grandma.
And then you say umale.
Omela is kind of like, how there's meemaws and grannies.
Oh,
and
it's like a
grandmas
slang
and
for grandmother. Okay. So that's what you refer to her as.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
all her grandchildren.
Okay. Okay. So did you notice, like, as a child, I know you wanted and desired love, so you really don't look at color when you're that young. But did you notice as a child, like, wait a minute, I'm this color and my grandmother's this color, and you was in a predominantly...
I always knew and was aware of my color. It wasn't, even as a little girl, I would say maybe around 4 or 5 years old, I knew. I mean, I went to German kindergarten. I went to German school, 1st grade, 2nd grade, and I knew the whole time I was brown, and they were not. And then even when we moved to Washington after my mom passed, my dad put me in a private school, which was also white. I was the only black child there. So, I mean, I was very well aware of it. Not that anybody was really pointing it out to me, but I mean, I had eyes and I could see. And I'm a fairly analytical overthinker type person, and always have been.